Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for the 48th episode of the Podwans podcast. I am your host, Char J, joined by my co-host, Hereth Productions.
How's it going, everyone?
Hope everyone's doing good. And before you ask the question, where's Luke? He is currently on another podcast. So me and Hereth will be taking the reins for today's episode. We will be covering Season 5, Episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9, a.k.a. The Gathering Arc. It's going to be a lot of Youngling action, a lot of Ahsoka action, Hondo and Naka, and we're going to see a bunch of fun stuff. We got a big group of guests today, and we are ready to go. Hereth, are you ready to bring in our guests?
Yeah, hell yeah, I am.
All right. Where did the banner go? I lost the banner.
Oh, God.
All right, let's get into the episode.
Never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
And we're back. Sorry about that. So our first guest today, he made his first appearance last week's episode for the Podwans podcast. He was on the Onderon arc, and let's bring back Nick at Codnamefulcrum.
Hello, my friends.
How you doing?
Good. How y'all?
Doing good. Doing good.
Excellent. I'm excited about the Younglings. I've always loved the Younglings arc.
Yes, especially after a certain trailer that we saw at Celebration. It's it's a good time to talk about some Wookiee Jedi.
Oh yeah, he lives.
He definitely did. Oh my god, my reaction was priceless when I saw him. I was standing up, going crazy, and everything.
I think there was like a standing ovation in the Galaxy stage.
Yeah, I was in Celebration, thankfully, and that was pretty epic.
All right, and we'll bring in our second guest today. She is returning for another show on the Podwans podcast. She has quite the resume on our show. She's been on episode 36, the Citadel arc, episode 46, the Maul Returns arc, and she has been on many of the roundtables, watch-alongs, and reactions. Let's welcome back Far, Far Away Factory's very own B. Dazzler.
Hello.
Hi, Brooke.
What's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm good. How are you
Ready
guys?
to talk about this arc today?
I'm ready to talk about Gunji. So I only care about Gunji. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm here.
We stand Gunji in this household.
All right. So once I bring everyone in, then we can shout out where we can find you. Actually, we'll do that now. Nick, where can the good people find you on the medias?
So on the TikToks is codename_fulcrum, and then Instagram Nick_codename_fulcrum, all the underscores.
All right. And Brooke, where can the good people find you?
_BDazzler_ on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, FarFarAwayFactory.com.
All right. And our third guest today, he is making his debut for our Clone Wars rewatch. He has appeared for the finale roundtable for the Book of Boba Fett, and he is best known for being our Podwan Star Wars trivia champion. Let's bring in Element 7.
The GOAT.
Hi.
How are you?
Did you say something about being a champion?
Yeah, I did. Yes. There's the belt that he won during Star Wars Celebration. We posted the championship match a few days ago, so if you're in the chat and have not seen it, you can go ahead and check that out.
I planned all this, by the way. I hadn't signed up for an episode until I knew I was going to be the champion.
Really? Okay, I like that.
I want you to see you wearing that all Celebration in London next year.
I will.
Entire weekend, just wear that belt.
Well, that's when the next tournament will happen. It usually now since we had the planning of it during Celebration, that's exactly what we're going to be doing next year as well. So
Run it back.
I think we're going to stick with the theme of having a trivia tournament during Celebration.
I will be defending it.
Yes, and who knows who will be fighting for it. But anyways, Element, where can the good people find you on the social medias?
Just to continue the underscore gang, Element 7 __. Oh, well, no, it's _Element 7 _ on TikTok. Twitter, there's an extra underscore at the end for Instagram, and then you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/diedintheforce.
All right. And our fourth guest today, he is returning for another Clone Wars arc. He has been on a plenty bunch of our shows, and I am glad to reintroduce him to our show. Let's bring in Chase at Forward Into the Black.
Hi.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I am Team Biff in this household. Biff is the best youngling.
Yeah, we need some Ithorian representation, okay? There's not enough Ithorian love out there. I think there's only Doc Ondar and Mok Shaiz, which, screw that guy, but whatever. But Chase, where can the good people find you on social media?
Forward Into the Black at pretty much everything and everywhere, and Rogue Council once a month on the YouTube and Twitch.
Good, cool. All right, and our fifth and final guest today, he is a newcomer to the Pod Once podcast. He is making his appearance with today's show. Let's bring in Obi.Sean.Kenobi.
Hello there. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hey, where can the good people find you on social media?
So it's just going to be Obi.Sean_Kenobi on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm just getting started on YouTube, so hopefully there will be some content on there soon.
That's good. I've seen you in the chat a few times, and I'm finally excited to have you on for today's show.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Also, Gunji Stan and honorable mention, Katuni.
Katuni, we love Katuni. All right, so usually how we run with every single show, we start with an icebreaker question. Since Sean is the newcomer to our show, we will ask him the icebreaker first. What color kyber crystal would you have and why? Chat, you can go ahead and say what color you would like, but Sean, go ahead.
I would say green. Green is my favorite color, so I'd have to go with green. If I had a second choice, it would probably be the cyan blue.
Ooh, like Terra Sinube?
Yeah.
Like that. That's cool. I like that color as well. Brooke, what would your kyber crystal color be?
So when I went to Galaxy's Edge, I picked green, but when I played Fallen Order, I stuck with the blue, but when I rebuilt my saber on Ilum, I picked like the lilac, like the very white purple color. So I'm gonna have to go with that.
That's cool. Yeah, any type of purple, I think I would love as well. Pep, what would your color be?
Definitely orange. Fire orange. That's my color in SOTOR as well.
Chase, what would your color be?
Yellow. Always yellow. Kind
Yellow.
of represent the Temple Guards and Rey, like always.
Nick, what would your color be?
I would have to go old school blue. Like, I've always loved blue, but I feel like blue is kind of like the Gryffindors of Jedi. Always kind of causing a little bit of trouble.
And Hereth, what would your kyber crystal color be?
Well, as shown in our banner, gotta go yellow.
Yellow?
Hell yeah, Temple Guard Rey supremacy.
Well, exactly what you said, Hereth. I would go with white, and that's also my banner color. And I don't know, I just like the fact that there's a white lightsaber, and I love that Ahsoka is the one that wields them. So, and I love the hum they make too.
Don't forget about Orla.
That's true. Hey, I never discount Orla Jareni, okay? We got a few people that are saying yellow. We got blue, yellow, then green, and then the Griffin blues for the win. Team White Saber, as I'm talking about. Yeah, it's a good range of colors. Are we? Oh, yeah. Before I begin, let me shout out Brooke here. So, Brooke, obviously, she runs a Etsy page and a website called Far Far Away Factory. She makes a bunch of clothing, earrings, and a bunch of different apparel. She hand makes and paints shoes, and she does a bunch of different things. And they're very well done. I know Luke got a pair of these custom Air Force One Vader shoes that I got to see at Celebration. They were very, very cool looking. And if you would like to go buy anything from her, this is where to go. farfarawayfactory.com. Etsy page is Far Far Away Factory, and you can follow her on Instagram at Far Far Away Factory if you want to get her stuff. She has a lot of good stuff. So, Anyways, Hereth, are you ready to kick off this episode?
Hell yeah, I am.
All right, so you go ahead and take the reins for episode 1.
All right, so the moral of the episode is he who finds himself faces himself. So that's how the episode begins with the moral. And leading with the first question is Ahsoka finds herself leading the gathering. How does this show her growth within her character and her ability to lead? Do you think this was a test of leadership, or was she asked to lead as a way to show how far spread the Jedi had become? I'll go start with let's go Nick. Let's go just that way naturally down because we went the other way. The previous way.
Well, I think with the last arc being Onderon and showing her leadership there, like it's like progressively Ahsoka's getting more and more responsibility as a leader and as an instructor, and I more so I think it kind of shows the trust that somebody like Yoda has in her and her leadership abilities. I don't really see it as much as things are getting thin, but more like she's just kind of taking that role, and it's like one of the best ways to learn is to teach. And I think that they put Ahsoka in that role a lot so that she's learning as she's teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that she's starting to do this now because at the end of the season, you know what happens. So this is like the point of time where her growth is at her highest. And shortly after, she leaves something called the Jedi Order. Anyway, let's go to,
oh my God.
Whoa, we have to wait for that arc. I'm sorry.
Obviously, Chase has never finished Clone Wars before.
I'm watching Clone Wars with you.
Spoilert.
Well, actually, Chase, it's not true because next week,
we're watching the best arc, the greatest arc, the only reason Clone Wars is good.
According to George Lucas.
Me and George, we know what's up.
All right. Well, Chase, what do you have to say about this question about Ahsoka's ability to lead and a test of her leadership?
I absolutely love Ahsoka in this episode. I think what we see is, I don't think it's just Ahsoka. I think the pair we get Yoda and Ahsoka. And Yoda has been there essentially, from what we know, essentially every step of the way with Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I don't know if it's canon, but it seems very hand-picked that she was there because she has come so far. And I think Yoda definitely sees, like, you're even kind of getting a little bit ahead of Anakin here in some ways. Let's get you with these younglings. Let's show them the lessons that they can learn, because maybe she's the only one that he sees can do it.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
anyone else?
I think this is a really great episode that shows both her leadership strengths and her teaching ability.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go the opposite direction and say that none of this was meant to be.
Yeah.
The Jedi Order, at least to my understanding, specifically Yoda, never truly tasks anyone with anything specific, only puts them in a position of learning to make those moments teachable. And the purveying theme for all Jedi is always pass on what you've learned. And so there will always be moments and opportunities for them to be put in a situation where they can do that. And Ahsoka, even though I don't believe she was put there specifically for this, was, as everyone is saying here, in the best position to do so. She was ready to pass on what she had learned.
Mm-hmm. Brooke, any thoughts?
I think I don't necessarily know if she was handpicked or if, every once in a while they do a gathering and they choose like an older Padawan to be in that kind of position. And after reading Brotherhood, having them with seeing Anakin with like the other younglings too, kind of makes me think that they do this to see how ready they are for a potential like Padawan in the future. I also think it helps for the younglings to have someone who's like closer to them experience wise, and someone who's more relatable to them than say like Yoda, because Yoda is someone that they can look up to, but Ahsoka is someone that they can relate to a lot more.
Yeah, I'm glad you compared it to Brotherhood too, because I think that the dynamic between Mil Alabeth and Anakin is very reminiscent to what happens in this arc. And I don't know, I just want to see more Mil Alabeth. I loved her in that book. But I just love how Ahsoka is able to orchestrate all this and allow the younglings to do what they're trying to do, but understand the limitations with the wall getting frozen down and everything, and to trust themselves and to just do what they have to do. And which leads into the next question, which is, of course, when they get to Ilum and they go into the ice caves. And the question is, the gathering is meant to be a monumental event in a youngling's life. How do you think the Clone Wars affected this event? Do you think that they even realized the severity of the situation, or were they just excited to finally have their crystals?
I think for the most part, the younglings were largely insulated from the events of the Clone Wars. Probably until they became Padawans and they started going off with their masters, because the masters were generals. And I think the Clone Wars did affect this like ceremonious occasion negatively, in that when it gave Hondo the perfect opportunity to hijack it, basically. And I'm not sure if I remember specifically, but I believe they couldn't send reinforcements because they were engaged. And so they had to fend for themselves.
I think what the lightsaber means started to change a little bit, because like Petro, and like when they're talking about getting their lightsabers, he's like, I'm gonna kill Grievous, and that was his reaction, versus like you see in like the High Republic, the lightsaber being more like a tool of last resort. This was like much more aggressive, but like not all of them were that way, but he certainly was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Petro definitely had that, like, I hate to say indoctrination into like I'm ready to go to war, but you definitely see that like they're all obviously lightsabers are cool. We all know that lightsabers are cool. We all have lightsabers, so everyone's excited. But yeah, I think Petro was I think you're right. Petro was the one, but everyone else kind of looked at it as like this is just the next stepping stone in my training, and it's a great learning opportunity. But yeah, I think the Clone Wars definitely had that gung-ho hold on Petro.
Yeah, I think overall it was mostly excitement, but like you guys were saying, they know of events of the Clone Wars, they know the heroes and the villains, General Kenobi, General Grievous, and Petro's a little bit more ambitious, but yeah, I think they're more excited about just getting their lightsabers.
Yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? Petro could have 1v1 Obi-Wan Kenobi, like he said. I'm going to take out Obi-Wan myself.
Bring it on.
Next week's cameo.
Yes, but hey, you got to give the youngling respect for his optimism.
He just want to be General Kenobi, He just looks up to his master himself.
Yeah, exactly. Did everyone get a chance to answer the question? I think... Brooke, did you go?
No, I don't know if I have anything extra to add. I think that they were mostly on like the excited side, especially in like time of war. It's like this is a positive thing, and they don't have to like worry about it as much.
Oh, Hereth, you know what I forgot to do?
What?
I forgot to read the plot summary.
Oh, I was like, there's something missing here.
Yeah, I mean that's why the episode felt off a little bit. But I'll read it for the second one, which is coming up right now. Let me pull up. This is a test of strength. Test of strength. All right. That is not Star Wars. Okay. Anyways, so now we move into season 5, episode 7, which is titled "A Test of Strength." And the plot summary. Ancient Jedi tradition. 6 younglings are sent to the secret caverns on Ilum, where they are tested by the Gathering, an ancient Jedi ritual where each youngling must harvest a crystal around which they will construct their own lightsaber. Along the journey, they underwent great perils, hardest of which was to face themselves. Now, having passed the test, they take their first steps into a larger world. All right. That was the plot summary for season 5, episode 7. And the first question for this episode is, well, the moral is the young are often underestimated, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And then the first one is, a lightsaber is meant to be an extension of a Jedi's connection to the Force. How do you think learning to build their lightsaber from a droid juxtaposes the idea of connecting to a living thing? And we can go ahead and start us off.
I think this echoes a certain episode in a certain show that is airing now, named Obi-Wan.Kenobi. I think when I don't know where we're at on spoilers, but when basically a certain character says, "Why are you rude to droids?" I think it's an interesting thing we do see in Star Wars a lot, of people looking at these like very complex machines that do save the day more often than not. Like the real hero of Star Wars is R2-D2. We can all agree on that. He saves the day more than anyone else, and so I think all the younglings are pretty dismissive of, oh God, what is his name?
Huyang?
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, no, they're expecting Yoda to do it or Sunube to do it for them. It's like, no, there's a droid who's just really good at it. Why don't you listen to the droid who's programmed to be really good at this and has been doing this for 1,000 years? And they're like, no, what? And then he's like, yeah, okay, fine. And then also he kicks everyone's butt in the end. That was awesome. He's like, oh, he gets his like head knocked off and his arms knocked off, and he's like, I'm still gonna kick you. It's like a Monty Python moment. But no, I love it. I love it because this is a precursor of what's to come for the greatest arc. That never underestimate a droid. Young ones are underestimated, but don't underestimate a droid.
I think my thoughts on the question is that I don't think it juxtaposes it at all. I think it is a parallel, because the relationship between the younglings and Huyang is a parallel to the relationship between the sentient kyber crystal and the components that create the lightsaber. And so, when we have these moments with Yoda or Plo Koon talking about the clones and how each one has a unique signature, they're not expendable, and they're all important to the Force. I think the lesson here with Huyang is that there's a symbiosis that happens regardless of what that thing is, whether it's a droid or a crystal. You treat everything that exists within the Force with the same kind of sanctity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and St. Pat in the chat, he makes a fun fact. David Tennant actually voice acts Huyang in this arc. So if you didn't know
got
that,
an Emmy for it, right?
Did he?
I think so. That's what
I don't know. He might have.
Somebody in the chat was saying that in one of my.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. David Tennant is spectacular.
I think also we get shown time and time again in Star Wars that droids are more than a culmination of wires and code, that they have a sense of sentience to them, and so it kind of mirrors the sentience of the kyber crystal as well.
Because I see it as like, so there's the crystal is like a living entity. It connects with the holder, the wielder of the lightsaber, and that a droid, a non-living being, is the one that's making it and forging the connection between these two symbiont things. And it's like it's a fun idea to look at, because Huyang has been building lightsabers for thousands and thousands of years, and I love the scene where he was talking about what materials the younglings want. He was like, do you want the bone from the Castilian whale, I believe, and then we want black ankh, or
the wood, like you get that High Republic tie back.
Yeah, hearing that and this is the Battle of Rashford, and like I'm forgetting like the specific wars or battles that were mentioned, but it's just that those little bits of exposition that could be it can be so much it can be fleshed out in the High Republic books, or something that takes place way in the past that we could see. And it's like, whoa, I want to see that. I want to see the Battle of Rashford. I want to see all these different things that that Hu Yang mentioned, because I mean we don't see them. It's thousands of years in the past. So, and his knowledge on lightsabers, teaching these young Jedi, it's super fascinating that his wisdom from a droid is passing down to these kids. And I think it's a very cool moment, that these kids get to hang out with Hu Yang and build their lightsabers, and then one's wood from a certain Jedi that I like. But Hereth, go ahead and ask the second question.
All right, so for the second question, the Younglings show incredible bravery during their interactions with the pirates. Do you think this is a typical trait for young Jedi, or were they inspired by Ahsoka's attitude in the looming threat of the Clone Wars? Again, open floor discussion. Anyone can go. Whoever wants to answer it first.
I'm just making room for people to go.
Yeah.
I think that it is maybe a combination. I think what they learned in the last episode on Ilum also probably gave them more confidence to do more about it. We didn't talk about it too much, but in the last episode, I feel like Ilum kind of presents a challenge to each youngling, like catered to them specifically for what they need. Like the Ithorian needed to overcome his fear of doing things by himself or being alone. Zat needed to trust himself and not completely rely on technology, and things like that. So I think from what they learned, plus having someone as confident of a leader as Ahsoka was, especially we see it kind of in the first episode, but we really see it in this episode that she just immediately kind of takes charge and is like, this is what we need to do, which I think is also a testament to how she was taught as well, because, you know, she was thrown right into the fire of the Clone Wars, whereas these younglings are a little bit too young to be, you know, right on the battlefield. Not that Ahsoka wasn't, but she just happened to be put there. So I think that gave them more confidence to be more proactive.
Yeah, I just want to know what everyone else's reaction was when Hondo just walked in and he was like, "I smell profit." Because when Hereth and I were rewatching it, I was like, I think this is where he says the line. He's gonna say the line, and then he said it. I was like, yes. So, just what was your thoughts on Hondo and what he was? How about him trying to steal those kyber crystals?
Hondo is perfect and has never done anything wrong in his entire life. So I'll leave that one.
While I agree with that sentiment, my reaction is the same every time Hondo is on screen. Again? Not that I'm tired of Hondo. It's just he's trying this again. It's like it's not gonna work.
Yeah, you can never get enough Hondo. And maybe in next week's Kenobi episode, there was a certain planet name drop. So I'm not going to spoil anything, as we mentioned earlier. But maybe we will see him in potentially in Kenobi.
Don't get that hooked up.
I mean, as far as the kids go, I mean, they're just at that age, right? Like they're at that age where like they're not just they're a little too old to just be passive, you know. And they're starting to learn, they're starting to gain that confidence, and like I think they are at that age where they would have been proactive and tried to do something.
Yeah, and they also learned sacrifice in the last episode too, with Petra saving Katuni from her being stuck. They're learning sacrifice, and that they're willing to give up themselves in order to save others. And you see this, what happens a lot in this episode with them trying to avoid and work together to defeat the pirates and push them back and stop Hondo. And I just think that I love how those episodes interconnect very well.
Yeah. I mean, I think this story, I mean, it's been done a lot. I mean, it's very popular, but I think it's great. I mean, it's like Stranger Things and The Goonies, Stand By Me. It's like these these very, very young kids going on these adventures and, overcoming like their age, their size, and what people think they're capable of. So it's always a great like storytelling mechanism, and so it's cool to see this in Star Wars, like basically a Goonies style episode almost in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's like a Goonies style with like a little bit mixed up with like a ship invasion of like that little tension of like, oh, they're gonna come get us, gotta get out of here.
Literally,
I mean,
it's
there are pirates.
pirate attacks.
Yeah.
Pirate attacks. You know, it's great.
Again, like a good blend of fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, did everyone get a chance to answer? I think everyone did. You guys all good? All good? Everyone got their thoughts? Okay. So we'll hop into the third episode of this arc, episode 8, titled Bound for Rescue. And, you know, surprise, surprise, we get even more Hondo Anaka. And let me begin the plot summary reading because, you know, everyone loves it. And I don't get graded harshly about it. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Hereth. All right, episode 8, Bound for Rescue. Piracy and deep space. Infamous outlaw Hondo Anaka attacks a Jedi transport bearing 6 younglings who just received their lightsaber crystals. So rare are these crystals that Hondo knows that he can sell them on the black market for a small fortune. In a desperate attempt to save the younglings, Ahsoka Tano is captured by Hondo and his pirate horde. Now, with a damaged ship, the younglings are stranded and alone.
Again, the show feels off because Luke's not here, but 3 out of 10 reading.
I was
I'll give you a 3 because it's a rough
Yeah.
start.
okay. I see, Hereth. If you were a teacher, you would never give your kids a chance. All right. Anyway, so the first question of this arc. So we dive into the very beginning of the episode with the ship being broken down, and Obi-Wan is trying to. He's getting called in to help them, but obviously they get bombarded by Grievous and his forces. So the first question is, Obi-Wan tells the younglings that they should not risk their safety in order to be heroes. How does this advice go against practically everything he and Anakin have ever done?
I don't think it goes against at all. Because Obi-Wan always says it to Anakin. But they end up going off anyway. So he is essentially still echoing what he tells himself and Anakin, and he's like, "We shouldn't do this." And then Anakin's like, "We're gonna do it anyway." And then they go do it, and so, you know, in Obi-Wan fashion, he tells it to the younglings who are gonna do it anyway.
And I mean, to their defense, they did try not to do anything for a little bit until they realized they kind of needed to do something. So they tried to obey, but when push came to shove and they had an issue, they decided to act. And again, that's kind of lead by example.
I love this arc, but this episode's not my favorite part of the arc. And one of it is because Obi-Wan is like, yeah, we'll go. Oh, no, we're not doing that. Those kids will be fine. Who cares about the kids? Oh, it's like, it's not even like once like the separatists come in and attack, it's not even like, hey, we should leave. There are children in trouble. We should leave. It's like, no, we're going to finish this fight first. And I'm like, oh.
Can we also talk about how Yoda was on Ilum and then just pieced out right afterwards?
Yeah, like, time to go back to
I didn't even notice
Chambers.
Kids will be fine. They will.
Well, I mean, Chase, that kind of goes back to what you're saying about the Goonies trope of like Obi-Wan is kind of like the parent, you know, they're like, oh my god, like my kids are missing, but they'll be fine. They'll manage their way back home. It's kind of like that like stereotypical trope of that one parent in those like movies.
Yeah.
For the most part,
Oh, yeah,
Obi-Wan's
you're-
always going to be by the book.
Yeah, as usual. And that's what makes him and Anakin so well.
enormous pirate ship. Okay.
But that also kind of
Figure
shows
it
like
out.
the Clone Wars, right? Is that like, oh, there's Grievous. That's like the war kind of comes back into play, and that like, you know, that draws the focus from the younglings. Is like, oh, you know, we're being attacked. There's Grievous. Let's finish this. Oh no, let's blow up the ship.
Oh wait, not that one. This one. Yes. Screw you, Hereth. Yeah, you guys all make great points with how Obi-Wan reacts to the younglings, because he's just like, oh, we'll save them, and then Grievous pulls up. He's like, oh wait, we got to do this. Hold on, and then that happens, and Obi-Wan just says, "You're on your own." Hologram turns off. Oh, darn.
They'll be fine.
Oh, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. Not for these kids, though. With that out of the way, did everyone answer the question?
Yeah.
We all good? Okay. Hereth, go ahead and ask the second question in episode 3 of this arc.
Well, speaking of Grievous, we see a much more powerful Grievous in this episode. How do you think Obi-Wan's meeting with him influenced their fight in Revenge of the Sith? Do you think that it made their fight more or less more significant to the both of them? Again, just like before, open for discussion. Anyone can take it.
I think in general, all of their meetings kind of influenced or informed their fight in Revenge of the Sith. It's just been, and it kind of increases its impact even more because it's been like a constant struggle all throughout the whole Clone Wars. They just keep on meeting each other. There's no end to this conflict. There's no winner. It just like Grievous keeps on getting away. You know what? I just realized this whole time that Grievous, all they really did to Grievous every time there was a chance that they could kill him was just insert the animation of him jumping into his starfighter and just getting away. No matter what was happening, if his capital ship was blowing up or if he was stuck in a cave, just he's running into a ship and leaving before it blows up, and that's how he escapes.
The trope that always frustrates me with this, though, is that if you're going to blow up the thing and try to destroy them, don't give them time. Don't say, like, by the way, I'm going to blow this ship up, and give them time to run away every time.
Yeah, you should be like, oh no, Grievous, I'm in the bathroom on this ship. Don't come there. And then
but I think this draws on the idea that Obi-Wan like realizes like over time that he can constantly kind of manipulate Grievous into something. Like he jumps down in Revenge of the Sith and says hello there and is surrounded by everybody, but can like goad Grievous into fighting him one-on-one.
Yeah, Brooke, what are your thoughts on Grievous in this episode?
I mean, I agree. I think that every time they meet, like Obi-Wan is very good at paying attention, and so I think every time that they meet, he's making note of like, okay, what can I do differently next time to be one step ahead, and that leads all the way up into their last fight together.
Yeah, I don't know if any of that, because when I was watching this, I was like, wait, why does Grievous tell Obi-Wan that he was trained in the Jedi arts by Count Dooku in Revenge of the Sith? But before this, he's already aware that he's skilled. But I just found that to be very funny with the context of the continuity and the lines said. But Sean, do you have any thoughts about Grievous in this episode?
Well, then you got that whole throwaway line from Anakin in Revenge of the Sith when they first encountered Grievous, that they had to work the entire Clone Wars series around because he wasn't supposed to meet him until that. I think that also, explains why Obi-Wan didn't really have, something quippy to say at Grievous in that initial meeting in the movie, because he's already encountered him more than once.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hereth, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, like I said, like this is like it's funny because like Grievous has like the funniest thing in this arc where it's like this is his most powerful moment, and then next episode you get his like weakest moment. But like going back to like focusing more on this episode like with Grievous of like I really do like the scene of like when he like boards like the ship and like he like taunts Obi-Wan by killing the clone, and like it's like very graphic violence for a children's TV show, but like the way like that happens, and then like Obi-Wan's like whole plan of him trying to flee, and like again I thought it was really well done, and I thought honestly I think it's probably Grievous' best moment of the show because like besides that he really doesn't get that much of a highlight besides Son of Dathomir, but that's not even released in the show. It's more of a comic series that kind of spin off of this.
I like Pat's comment. Star Wars is just Obi-Wan sneaking around places. That's essentially what's happening in the Kenobi show. Yeah, and there's
every time.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
He's a sneaky boy.
Don't worry, he's having some hot tea on Jabim. Then he's gonna go back to sneaking places.
Well, diving more into this episode a little bit more, like I find out how like funny the kids are. Like, all right, Ahsoka's captured. What are we gonna do? Let's go
join the circus. I love them.
It's A Bug's Life.
Yeah,
It's the whole plot to A Bug's Life, but with like Jedi younglings. I'm for it.
Because they're just like, that's the logical move. We could like fool Hondo. Like I love how Hondo just doesn't recognize them, even though they just fought each other. Most of them face to face.
Wasn't Hondo just like
He was
Out of it.
also drunk.
Yeah,
right?
he's
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah, well, what's that quote from Attack of the Clones? Yoda says, like, curious or something, the mind of a child is.
Oh, truly
So-
wonderful.
Truly
The
wonderful.
Truly
mind of a
wonderful.
child is.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought about that watching this, how they, they could have, like, used, like the Jedi are generals now in the war. They could have been like, all right, what would General Kenobi do? Like, how would we set up this, like, attack to save her? And they're like, nope. We're gonna join the circus. And so I kind of like how like creative they get, and it's I guess maybe also a because of their I don't want to say they're naive, but they just aren't as experienced because they haven't really experienced stuff with the war. This is their first. See, I mean, I'm going to assume this is kind of their first taste of the world outside beyond just like their training at the Jedi Temple. So I don't know. I love that part.
What was your reaction when Hondo was brought into the circus and he was on the board and then he's like, I'm flying! And he just lands in the back.
Peak Hondo. Just peak Hondo.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I was like, Hondo is flying.
I also just love like Ahsoka kind of. I feel like Ahsoka kind of takes like the Obi-Wan role in this arc of like, oh god, here they go again. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm just kind of trapped here, but I just kind of have to go with the flow of like their plan of like not getting approval of anyone and just kind of just winging it. So I just kind of love that little like role shift for her in this episode.
And when she first sees him, she's like, "Oh no!"
We came to rescue you. Good job.
I do.
Lovely.
I had this thought. I do think it's kind of interesting going like ahead in the timeline that, despite the failures that, happened with Anakin, I think that like his, lineage of Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan, etc. Like Ahsoka survived Order 66, Obi-Wan survived Order 66. We see Gunji in the trailer for the Bad Batch. So I feel like these Jedi that have more, a better ability to improvise seem to do better, surviving. Quinlan Voss also comes to mind. They are more out of the box thinkers. And I don't know if we'll see some of the other younglings in the Bad Batch, but it would be cool to see.
Yeah, everyone share their thoughts. If there's anything you want to add to Grievous in this episode, and also if you want to talk about Drunk Hondo, go be my guest. If you want to talk about how the younglings were just insanely brilliant and very witty with their disguises and their performance. Anything else? Anything else you want to add?
Well, I think Element was saying that. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, you can finish.
I was going to say, you were saying that you don't think we'll see Quinlan in Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I think we may see him in Bad Batch Season 2. If Gunji survived and maybe some of the other younglings survived, then Quinlan played a part in that.
Oh, I think we're going to get Quinlan in Obi-Wan and Bad Batch and probably Jedi Survivor. We're probably going to get Quinlan a lot in the next 3 hours of Star Wars.
I was like, right now?
He just appears. Element's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have that happen.
I think this upcoming episode will be the you're gonna see some neat friends episode. But yeah, we're not talking about that show. We're talking about the other show.
Now I'm just visualizing Pep when he watches that next week's
He's gonna be
episode,
like, "Oh!"
and then he pulls up, he just grabs a yellow marker and just bad to the bone and just draws across his face.
Predator.
Bad. He's like, this is my time.
It truly is. I mean, just to kind of like dovetail off of it, the whole theme right now is the survivors. Jedi Survivor, Bad Batch Season 2, and then Obi-Wan with the Path. And so I think the stage is set for him to return, and for anyone that has anything to do with smuggling survivors to return in any of these projects. But what I was going to say before we went into that was that, the younglings in this episode exemplify the moral of a previous episode, which was the young are often underestimated. And they're being creative, like Brooke said, and they're doing all this to rescue Ahsoka all on their own, and it just kind of like tells you, just how capable the people who train in the Jedi Order are. There may be some missed opportunities with teachable moments. There may be some emotional immaturity and insecurity with how people interpret their teachings. But for the most part, what they learn makes them very capable people. And it just like seeing these younglings in the circus reminds me of seeing like a 6-year-old prodigy playing the violin. It's just like, if they are in an environment that, where they can truly shine and where it just like resonates with them, then they can truly display incredible things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, you make a really good point there with how well the younglings were able to get the job done despite the circumstances and their setting and what was around them. And I think that, and like what Hu Yang says, I think that well, this is also what he says in the next episode, that this is the best group of younglings I have ever seen, and I've been a part of this order for thousands of years. And it's so cool how they work together, and just in a circus. It's not even like anything to do with the Jedi, like the aspect of a Jedi. It's a circus. So I think that their dynamic between all 6 of them is really cool.
And again, that and even though we went off tangent there, but I think that kind of does relate to what we were talking about in a sense, because like, if it wasn't for this mission and Ahsoka getting captured and this whole like them getting thrown into the war and them having to go with circus, like none of this would have happened that way, because like it was them being that creative is what made them survive all this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like by the end of this story arc is kind of where we first see Ahsoka at the beginning of Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
There's that like they're kind of at that place where they're about to be ready to be kind of sent off into the world.
Yeah. It does feel very cyclical, because it's almost like Ahsoka is where Anakin was, and the younglings are now where, like you said, they're where she's at, and it's cool to see. I guess like you see that if you're a teacher and stuff like that, where you were, where they are now. I think it's cool that we're seeing that in Star Wars. Just good teachable moments.
That comment made me think, like, what if we see Gunji in Bad Batch 2 as like a circus performer?
Oh,
What if like that's what he felt back to?
He's on Kashyyyk just like balancing something.
This also wouldn't be the first time we've seen like Ahsoka be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, well, for story purposes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's so funny how Katuni was just able to just go on the side, like, oh my god, there's Ahsoka, and then she just sneaks around very quietly, and then just gets her free. And then Hano's just like, yeah, what's up? I'm in the circus. He's just hanging out, having fun.
Didn't even notice his lightsabers are gone, or how like she just ran off.
Yeah, well, their teamwork is just amazing, and especially with how it ends up working in this next episode. And not to mention, before we dive into the final episode, every single youngling has finished their lightsaber except for Katuni. Petro did have some lightsaber issues earlier on, but he did finish his lightsaber, and only Katuni is the only one that didn't finish it. So as we dive into the final episode of this arc, plot summary of course. Episode 9, A Necessary Bond. Pursued by pirates. While on a rite of passage, 6 Jedi younglings and Ahsoka Tano are ambushed. While protecting the young Jedi, Ahsoka was captured by the nefarious Hondo Onaka and taken to the planet Florum. Marshalling their courage and training, the younglings infiltrated the pirate stronghold and rescued Ahsoka. Now we find our heroes in a race to their starship with the pirates closing in. Hereth, what's my grade?
I would say, it was better than last time. You had a bigger start.
-9. Oh.
69 out of 10.
I'm gonna go with
Nice.
a 5 out of
9.
10.
Get your head out of the gutter.
Never.
I'll go with it was an average one. I've seen better. I've seen worse. Like worst one being last one.
I thought I saw 9 out of 10, but I saw the hyphen, and then I just lost all courage in myself. So
It's okay.
thank you.
Oh, sorry, Katuni.
So yes, before we begin, so This episode begins with Hu Yang being repaired and Katsuni still having struggles with building her lightsaber. And the moral of this episode is choose your enemies wisely, as they may be your last hope. Which I think this is just directly pointing towards Hondo Anaka, and that some hero villains do have a good side to them, and you definitely see this throughout this episode and later in the Clone Wars and in Rebels and in future projects. And I just think that the moral is it's super important to Hondo Anaka in this episode. And Hereth, would you like to go ahead and ask the first question?
Yeah. From what we know from season 1, do we think Dooku would have batted an eye if Hondo had not captured him? How does the show the need for the revenge of the Sith carry?
I mean, the Sith are very eye for an eye, right? And that's the whole thing, like at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, with like Palpatine like influencing Anakin. You know, it's like he cut off your hand. You want to get revenge by also cutting something else off.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of that in the Sith mentality.
Yeah, there's a whole movie named after it.
No way.
Where can I find this movie?
Does it exist?
I'll send you the
I think
file.
it's on HBO Max.
It's, yeah.
Return of the Sith.
Did it affect this movie or the show called Obi-Wan.Kenobi at all?
Revenge
Yeah, but I heard they didn't watch that movie.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't watch it. Yeah, it's an obscure movie. Only real fans.
Is it episode 3, Attack of the Jedi? Yeah.
I think as far as like all the Sith we've seen so far, like they're all about revenge. But when it comes to like Dooku and the distinguished gentleman that he is, he's just a little bit more petty than the rest. And I think like even if he gets slighted in just a little bit of a way, it's more he's more petty in the way he goes about seeking revenge.
Yeah, I like seeing Dooku in this series overall, but it is that whole theme. I mean, Maul is like he lives off revenge. Like that's the only thing keeping him going. And I think it's so cool that like I like seeing the difference between Maul's approach to like I'm just going after Kenobi forever and ever and ever. To Dooku is like, you remember that one time you made me upset a little bit? Yeah.
I'm
gonna get you.
Like him calling himself like Count, and holding on to that title, and like the way he holds himself with that, and how he would react based in that stature.
Yeah, Dick took the word out of my mouth.
Dooku's more petty
Yeah, he's a
in
petty,
that regard.
he's a petty political idealist who like he's mainly focused on like, okay, how can I get like the separatist cause to myself? But like he's also have that little Sith mentality that I'm going to get my revenge, but I'm not going to do it like Chase said, like not like the Maul style of like, oh, I'm going to come after you. It's like I'm going to send the droids after you and just let them capture you, and then I'm going to like laugh at you and be like, haha, you screwed up. It's kind of like that, like it's like the little petty like Dooku like villain of the week style like mentality.
I feel like Dooku is that guy. He's like that typical 80-plus-year-old dude that someone gave them the wrong roasted peanuts, and he's like, "You gave me the wrong peanuts. You know what? I'm gonna get you for giving me the wrong peanuts."
He's the guy that like screams at the gas station cashier for like not giving him like $7.89 exactly back.
He's like, I expected my cash
Where are my
back.
pennies?
I challenge you to a duel with the leather glove.
He's
This
Clint
is an
Eastwood in
83
Gran
Malbec and
Torino.
not an 82. How dare you?
Oh no.
He writes bad Yelp reviews.
I'm writing you to inform you have lost a customer today.
One Star Wars.
Are we just saying Count Dooku is the ultimate Karen?
I'm letting you know you have lost a pirate today.
What a jerk.
He made me sit in a room with Obi-Wan and Anakin.
How
And
dare
I had
you?
to deal with their nonsense, or quote unquote insolence, as he says in that episode. But as we move to everyone, share their thoughts. Anything you guys want to add before we move to the second and final question? No? All right. Cool. So the final question. So before we get into that, prior to Dooku having this conversation with Hondo, Grievous goes to him and essentially just lays claim on Florum. So Hondo is like, what should I do? And then the younglings find Hondo, and then Hondo's like, and then Ahsoka's like, "Oh, you have a ship," and then Hondo's like, "Oh, all of my ships are destroyed, but I can find one," and he finds a ship, and well, that was when this was like before. This is after he was released, but when he is brought up on the same he was shackled up like how Obi-Wan was in Attack of the Clones with Dooku. We see Katuni finally build her lightsaber, and I feel like that was the moment where Hondo finally became a good guy, was seeing Katuni build her lightsaber. And because he put his profit, his money aside, and he was willing to just watch her just build her saber, because he was like, "This is priceless. This is worth more than a Jedi lightsaber." And he's like, "Oh, well, cut me down, little Jedi." And well, if you didn't know, the ship that he flies during the Smuggler's Run right at Galaxy's Edge is named Katuni after her. So yeah,
Spoiler alert.
The ship that he
Spoiler
flies.
alert.
Okay, that's been around for over 3 years, man. But I think that, like I said, I think this is the point where Hondo truly indulges into being a hero, not a villain, because he's so used to, being that pirate that only wants what he wants, but he's willing to, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, well, partially, because I feel like that he was genuinely wanting to follow them, but with Grievous taking over Florum, and with Hondo prior to them taking over them, I like that. But the final question is, how do you think Hondo's interaction with the younglings affected his relationship with Ezra and Rebels? Had they not meet, do you think that Hondo and Ezra would have had a bond at all?
Well, I think Katuni is like the impetus for him, like really feeling that idea of becoming a mentor and caring about something other than profits. Like he finds that moment where like, oh, this is valuable. I do care about this, but he's always still like for years battling. It's kind of like a New Hope Han Solo, like in the middle of it, still kind of struggling between what is right and what is good for me. But as the years pass, we see him more and more pick the road of being a mentor or doing what's right.
Yeah, I feel like with Hondo's character, and he is like genuinely one of my favorite characters, like in Star Wars now, is I think he's always had that little inclination, because like even earlier in this arc, he sees Ahsoka and he's like, "Ahsoka, why didn't you just say you were here? I would have just asked you to give him to me." And it's one of those things. Like I think everyone's very much correct. Like when he sees Katuni like build the lightsaber, he's like, there's more to this galaxy than what I do. I'm not stopping what I'm doing. But I think because my favorite line that he has is in Rebels when he's like, "Ezra, you lied to me. I'm so proud of you." So I think he's always had that like little bit of character to him. But yeah, I do like seeing like this is his little catalyst, like push him more into that direction.
Yeah, I think if he had not like encountered the younglings, like Ezra and him may still have had a relationship, but he might have not always been inclined to do the right thing or go in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like with what everyone said. It's just a good look into what Hondo values more than just profit. And so that moment with Katuni, where he said this is priceless, he's assigning value to something that he can't profit off of, and that's just a major step for his character.
Absolutely, that's a very good point there, and that was like the first step into what would become of Hondo's character, especially later in this show and in Rebels and potentially Kenobi.
And by the end of Rebels, he says like, "I would do anything for that boy." So like becoming like going that full, I guess, hero journey in a way.
Yeah, essentially.
Scoundrel journey, pirate journey, whatever.
The selfish journey.
He's still
learning the value of relationships and doing something for somebody else.
Yeah, he still prioritizes profits, but I think from this moment on, his relationship with those that he values is equal to profit.
Proof that Hondo Inaka has a heart.
His heart grew 3 times that day.
Hondo became the lovable uncle you don't want your kids to learn from, but you know they will.
And you even see it with like other life forms, like Belch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you see him develop some of those other relationships.
And again, like I feel like this episode has like a really good like poignant like of like again like you said, going back to the moral of like trusting your enemies, or like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and like how that kind of ties in, and then like how they learn to trust each other, and how Hondo like finally like looks into himself and finds good, and then so I feel like this is a very like essential episode, not even like just for like Hondo, but like for like Ahsoka too, because again like you said earlier at the beginning of the episode, the first question of like this is the first time she's learned to develop and like trust others.
And it's like a Star Wars theme of like there's good in everybody, and it's trying to find the good and bring that out. I mean, the whole like Vader Anakin story arc.
Yeah, and then like we also get a little bit of like Rebels foreshadowing again, besides just the Hondo thing of like Ahsoka versus Grievous. Like Ahsoka, this is the first time she had to fight someone way taller than her, which again that would pay off later in Twilight of the Apprentice.
At least I think we're friends.
yeah, and then we at the very end of the episode, once they defeat Grievous and they go back to the Venator class to return the younglings to Kenobi. The banter between Kenobi and Hondo is so funny. And he's like, "Well, Hondo, you must be this." And then Hondo's like, "That is a heinous accusation. I am gone. I am gone. I will send you my bill." Yeah.
Who knew Hondo had an invoice?
Hondo has a heart, but he still wants his money. So it's like,
and always turning a situation into like he did something good. You're like, I caused this trouble, but like, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day for Hondo, profit is love, profit is life.
All right. T-shirt.
So is there anything else you want to add? Anything before we close out this episode? Before we hop into my little segment, which I like to call my 3 interesting facts.
If Gunji ends up being a circus performer in season 2 of The Bad Batch, does that mean we'll see Jar Jar?
Yes.
Perhaps.
I would make that bet that if that is how they, I don't think it will, but yes.
I mean, hey, Aftermath set it up for a reason. Come on.
I truly
Lucasfilm,
think
if
all
you're
of the
watching,
younglings
hire us.
survived.
All
You
of
think
them?
the whole group?
Yeah.
I think the whole group survived. Quinlan smuggled them out, and they are actually full-time animal instincts.
They're just
I like it. I like it.
I'm into it.
They just walk around with animal costumes all day. They're like, oh, they will never find us. Hey, we got Cal 4 in the chat. How you doing, Cal?
Hey.
Cal.
Is that Hoyang we see in the Ahsoka trailer, or do we think it's just another model of that same type of droid?
No, the 100% Hoyang.
I'm sure it's Huyang.
Oh my god, if we hear David Tennant.
David Tennant
Yes,
live
please.
action.
More David Tennant. You can never get enough of David Tennant.
I will be happy.
Especially all the Doctor Who fans.
Like, I know it was very early in the show's shooting schedule, but there's no way you just show off that kind of droid without a voice
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah. they're trying to amp up the fandom with
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten pretty big names to voice the droids in live action, too,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, we get Huyang with hopefully Jason Syndulla.
maybe.
Do we
Yeah.
know who's playing Hereth?
I mean, Filoni's in charge of this, so you're gonna get a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we just get another Order 66 scene, but
We could get Ahsoka doing another gathering for someone else.
the new Jedi gathering.
that would be cool. I would just wonder, like, where would she find those young Jedi? Would it just be from Luke or
From the path.
the Path? Yes.
And
Yeah,
I
they're setting
think
things up.
Ahsoka is where we're gonna get our Clone Wars flashbacks.
Wait, are you saying that we're going to see Ahsoka and Kenobi?
No. It like the Ahsoka show.
Oh, I think
Is
like the
where we're
Path,
gonna
like the
get
one that
our
they're
Clone Wars
covering in the Kenobi show right now. Because Rev's like, "Where's the Path?" And then Leia's like, "I won't tell you. I'm a princess of Alderaan."
But Charles, go into 3 interesting facts.
All right. Yes. So
You're absolutely stunning, groundbreaking, earth-shattering. 3 interesting facts.
yes.
But
So
totally dynamic.
with that out of the way, I will dive into my little segment. All right. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 30, the Gathering Arc Edition. Fact 1, a callback to Empire Strikes Back. Gunji hears his crystal call to him in a piercing wail, which is a callback to the distracting sound Chewbacca must suffer through when a prisoner in Cloud City during Episode 5. Fact 2, a fan-made animation? Petra's lightsaber training maneuver, as seen in Bound for Rescue, the Whirlwind of Destiny, was actually created by a young fan as part of the Join the Jedi contest sponsored by Hasbro. The winning entry, submitted by Brendan Lake, was animated into the show, and he received screen credit for it. Fact 3, a fun connection to Season 2. Ironically enough, Ahsoka is saved by the very vessel she caused to crash in Lethal Trackdown. That is the final episode of Season 2, and which is, of course, the Fire Spray ship. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about the Gathering Arc.
Of course, you worked on a Boba Fett fact. You Boba Fett Sam.
Why not? I mean, hey, that's the baby. All right. So, with that out of the way, let's dive into Star Wars news.
Well,
All right, so and we're back, and we'll bring in this guy to start us off with the Star Wars news.
I saw you were replaced.
Oh.
I thought I replaced you. What the hell's going on?
I gotta go,
A
guys.
little
I'll
Han
see you
Solo
later.
ending coming at the very end.
Oh, hey, just trying to save the day. No, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good.
Fucking.
Pep, I was about to say, you didn't come into this podcast saying looking so disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought
I have
you
to
were
change it
better
up.
You
Yeah,
look-
I
than that. No,
changed
you
it up.
don't.
Hey.
You really don't.
Sure,
You should
sure.
do it every time. It never
Sure.
gets old. I love it.
You forgot the ranking. The arc
that's
ranking.
right. That is right. Hold on. Let me pull up the banner real quick.
Oh.
This has been chaos. Chaos is the ladder. as
No,
typically is.
I'm really looking. I was just gonna stand here. I was just gonna sit in the background and just watch this whole happen.
Okay. Where's the?
I got it.
yeah,
I got it. I got it. There you go. All right, everybody. For those that have been on before, we're gonna start with you guys. Brooke, what's your ranking of the episode?
Overall, I'd give it Jedi Knight, but I would give specifically the first episode Jedi Master. It's one of my favorite Clone Wars episodes, and
Gunji?
being Gunji and being a big Fallen Order fan, I just love watching that episode and then going to Ilum in the game and how similar it looks, and it gives me all the warm and fuzzies despite being a very cold planet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nick?
For me, because the first time I saw this, I was so excited to finally really see them getting kyber crystals and building lightsabers and getting to see that experience. So for me, because I attached to that, I would go Jedi Master.
Okay. Chase?
Everything but the third episode gets a Grandmaster from me.
Ooh.
Season 5 really kicked off Clone Wars for me, mostly because of starting with Onderon. Oh man, I get why people like this show now. But this one coming in was awesome. I played Fallen Order before watching this, so seeing what it was and later on, and then seeing it and it's how it was supposed to be it was a real treat. I'm not the biggest fan of the third episode. I would give the third episode a Jedi Knight. I think it's still really good, but everything else with Hondo, and especially just the first episode, and also just Yoda being oh, it's just ice. You can break through it. What were you guys scared of? It's that is a chef's kiss moment just on its own. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Element?
I'm going to go Jedi Master across the board, except for the Gathering, because that was like the first time we had just like Hondo says, this is priceless. You know, this is the first time we've seen lightsabers being built in canon, and to this day we still do not have a big screen lightsaber build from any of the big screen heroes. I was hoping we were going to get to see Rey build hers. You know, we had a hint of it on her when she was at her workbench, and it's just something that is truly special in when it comes to like Force lore and Jedi lore, is just the ceremony and the process behind building a lightsaber. And so the Gathering itself with Hu Yang, naming all of those parts and referencing, the what is it, the battle of Battle of Rashford and the something of Parliok and Carthusian whale bones.
We should have made that a trivia question. He doesn't know it. Write that down. Note that down.
Write that down.
I'm probably gonna know it in the next 5 seconds. But yeah, the Gathering itself gets a Grandmaster from me.
Nice. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I would say the arc as a whole, I'd probably give it a Jedi Knight, but the Gathering episode, I'd give it a Jedi Master. I love all the call forwards to Fallen Order and Rebels, and even the little call forward to Galaxy's Edge with the Katuni. Also, one of my favorite lightsaber designs is Gunji's, the wood handle. I hope that Disney does that hilt one day and releases that, or we see it with LGT as well. That'd be really awesome.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Real wood, I hope.
Yeah,
Real wood, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. But okay, so let's get into the news. Obviously, Char already did it. So, Bad Batch Season 2 trailer. For all of us that had gone to Celebration, we got a different trailer than everybody else did. What were your guys' thoughts on the Bad Batch Season 2 trailer? We'll start with Obi-Wan Kenobi, since he didn't go to Celebration, to see what his experience of seeing the trailer was on the internet, I guess I should say.
Yeah, so I did see several of you guys share that Cody was also in the trailer, so we get that. I'm loving the new designs, or the new color scheme changes for most of the Bad Batch, except for Tech. I think he gets the least amount of upgrade. I screamed when I saw Gunji reappear, so I'm really excited to see what they do with him and possibly the other younglings that might appear. And it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between Cody and Crosshair.
Yeah. And whoever else wants to go from Celebration, just take the reins. Who wants it?
Absolutely lost my shit when I saw Gunji.
Yeah.
Me too, Alanis.
I mean, it's not something.
Jesus.
It's not something that you would have expected from the Bad Batch trailer. Seeing one of the younglings survive, it's one of those things that catches you off guard. No, everyone, Jesse was on Cody watch. Everybody is looking for those things. With Cody, but with Gunji or in any other youngling that's probably going to make an appearance in Bad Batch Season 2, that's probably the biggest takeaway for me, is learning that they survived and what role they have to play in, possibly providing the catalyst for Crosshair, like they provided the catalyst for Hondo to come back.
Oh, yeah. Brooke?
I'm just happy to see them again. The Bad Batch was just so fun. It was nice to watch a show where there weren't the stakes weren't that high. You just got a fun episode every week, and you get to see the progression of the Empire that we haven't really seen before. But I'm really excited to see how they've grown as a team, especially with Omega, because we got that extra little clip separate from the trailer, and it just made me so happy to see Omega's growing up a little bit and
Yes.
becoming more confident in her abilities. And I think the rest of the team is going to accept her more and trust her more as being a real member of the squad, and not just this kid that they have to take care of. So I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, Nick.
I mean, there's definitely that element of like when they finish the first season, like where are they going to go with this? Because like that time period and these types of characters are not developed, and where are they going to dive in? And the trailer kind of showed that like, oh, they're not going to hold back. Like they're, that like all the cameos that we see, like the questions we hear from like Cody debating certain aspects and some of the other cameos. Like I'm just excited that they seem to be kind of like going full steam. And I know like the cameos in the trailer are going to kind of be spread out, but throughout the show. But the fact that that's happening, the fact that there is evolution in the team, and then we get a little bit of that time jump, I think will be exciting.
Oh yeah, Chase.
As someone who's not seen The Bad Batch, I also have stayed away from the trailers.
Hey.
Chase hasn't finished Clone Wars, guys. Remember?
Yeah, I saw the last episode. Show's
Yeah.
not very good, guys. I'm sorry.
Except for D Squad. You watch D Squad about that.
Yeah, I watched D Squad on repeat.
Oh God! Next week I can just hear myself and Alanis just groan over writing those notes.
Just get ready for the
This episode.
PowerPoint. That's all I have to say.
Yes, college
Oh
lecture
my-
on Pod Ones. Let's go.
Oh no. I will say the one thing that I really enjoyed is obviously we get Palpatine. We got Palpatine at the end of our trailer
In the Imperial Senate.
in the Imperial Senate, so
With
we
Mothra
know. So we know that the Bad Batch is going to Coruscant. So we'll see how much that ties in. But that was one thing that I came away with, and obviously I was like, to be honest, we've seen a lot of Vader in a lot of these shows. I don't want him in Bad Batch. I think there's
That's
a time.
first.
I think
You
there's.
don't say you don't want Vader. That's a first.
No, I don't want Vader because this is happening during 2017, the comic run. If I'm
No,
correct
it's 2
on
years-
that.
It's 2 to 3 years later. Omega's
is it
older.
2 to? Is
Yeah,
it 2 to
Omega's-
3 years older?
Yeah, Omega's a lot older in the in the
From-
clip. She's older. She looks
Well,
older.
like-
She's more of a teenager than a preteen.
I don't know, but I just don't want to see Vader, to be honest.
Pat, you're dead to me.
Char and Hereth.
Well, everyone mentioned it. The main thing that stuck out to me was Gunji and Cody, but the Cody stuff I really want to just dive in on. Like
Yeah.
the fact that like Cody is like now recognizing that the clones are being replaced. He's kind of in the place of the Bad Batch, where it's except on the opposite side of the war. He noticed that they're all being replaced. His chip finally went out. You can tell by the way he's kind of like questioning everything. Like again, it's very interesting to see like this kind of dark side mirror arc of the Bad Batch and Rex, but you kind of see it from the other side of the coin. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to develop that. And as I said on Diet in the Forest, when the Bad Batch first trailer came out, I really want to see Cody versus Rex and see how that finally ends with Rex killing Cody.
Yeah, that's it. And we will not be gaslit into thinking that Agent Callus will show up. I will not allow that. Sorry.
I do want to see Wolf though.
Yes.
'Cause we don't,
Yes.
we don't know how he meets up with Rex.
We
and
love
then,
the
yeah.
104th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the team up with Rex for all
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Close bros. Char, your thoughts on the trailer?
We're just gonna get more Wrecker, and I love
Yes.
Wrecker.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like heights. This
Yeah.
is not fun for me.
And it seemed like during the panel.
Oh no, crabs!
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker very much like favors Wrecker is his favorite for sure.
Oh, and when he
hands
was
down.
doing the crosshair, an order is an order.
Oh God, Alana. I was sitting with Alanis during that panel, and she slapped me 3 or 4 times during that, and it was just it's hilarious.
Thanks, Brooke.
I
Next time I want to
say
sit,
it. I didn't want to
next time I
say
want
it.
to sit next to you and slap you a bunch.
It
sounds
maybe in London,
I'm really curious, and no spoilers for Chase, but like the very end of season 1, I'm wondering if that's how much that will tie into the storylines going forward.
Oh, it
yeah,
has to be.
100%.
It
Yeah.
has to be. Yeah. But moving from one trailer to the other trailer, we got Andor. That's coming up here in August, at the end of August. What is everybody's thoughts on Andor?
I cannot wait for Andor.
It
Oh
looks
my
gorgeous.
god.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I just want 6 episodes of Mon Mothma and Cassian Andor screaming at each other. That's all I need.
Well, I think
definitely
there's going to
believe it.
be 12 episodes.
So there's going to be 24 as a whole. There's going to be a part 1, part 2. So they finished filming part 1 in 12 episodes, and then they're going back and filming later this year. I think that's what they said. And
Love it.
they'll have another 12 episodes.
They said
But
it's gonna be 3 seasons. The first one's gonna be 5 years before. The second one is gonna be spanning those 2 years of like that from the 5 to the third year, and then and it's gonna get closer to Rogue One, and then the final season is gonna run up to almost concurrent with the show with the movie.
that would be nice. I would really, really, really enjoy
Yeah.
that for sure.
Everything we've seen, just
Yeah, it looks. Well, we're gonna get more backstory on Andor, on Cassian, and stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of his character progression from how he gets radicalized to who we see him as in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the best wardrobe we're going to be getting out of a female Star Wars character since Padme out of Mon Mothma. So
The one thing that I'm sure you've all noticed, but every Disney Plus show has been vastly different than what we expected, and I think that's been a very good thing. And no, I don't. The Mandalorian was going to be the Wild West, and that's not Boba Fett show, and it was the Daddy Lorian show, and it's beautiful. Book of Boba Fett was not like this gritty bounty hunter thing. It was almost a Sopranos-esque show, and Kenobi, not what I was expecting. I love it, but I'm very expected to see where is this show gonna go, because I think this is it's going to be. There seems to always be that other pairing. We had Fennec, we have Grogu, now we have Leia. Who's got? Seems
Mon
like
Mothma?
we think we're going to get Mon Mothma, but that's not the direction that the trailers took everything else. So I'm very curious how this show's going to turn out. I think it's going to be just.
It's the dark spy thriller. We're getting a very personal Rogue One style again, it's like that first scene with Cassian Andor. We're gonna learn why is he at the place he's at in Rogue One, of why is he able to do these dark deeds for the rebellion and just not even bat an eye.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to be a scumbag. I think he's going to be a total scumbag in this show.
Yeah, because he's gonna. Well, you have to also think about what he says to Jin. We all did horrible things for the rebellion, and you're gonna see these horrible things. He's gonna turn on people. He's going to do whatever he can so that the Empire fails. So in the trailer, we get. I did not put this together, but we get what's his name, Hannah the King in season 5 through 7 for Cersei. What's that guy's name?
Oh,
What's his name? Wait,
Hand
The
of
High
the
Sparrow?
King.
No, not the High Sparrow. The Maester who got kicked out, who ends up bringing the mountain back alive.
Qyburn?
Yes, Qyburn.
Yeah.
He is an Imperial, and that is a perfect casting.
Mhm.
He is just straight up. He stinks of Imperial. So I was like, I saw him in the trailer, and I was like, oh wow, I completely forgot he was even cast. So Andor looks awesome.
yeah, we also got Stellan Skarsgård and I forget the actress' name, but the woman who plays Aunt Petunia in the Harry Potter series.
Oh.
She was like in the last. She was like in that last clip.
I hope in the same way we kind of got Luke and Ahsoka and Book of Boba Fett unexpectedly, I would love to see Hera unexpectedly in Andor at some point.
We know it's taking place around the same year
Yeah.
as Rebel Season 1.
Yep.
Interesting.
We got a live action Hera now. I don't know who it is, but
Also, I gotta mention the LTT gunships and the clone troopers.
Yes, that's gonna be fun to watch that flashback. Any other thoughts on Andor?
lots. But let's move on.
Classic Filoni with an Order 66 tie-ins.
Yeah.
Let's make this the first show without that.
You know it's not gonna happen.
I have hope.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Char,
Thank you.
Char, I will let you take this next newsworthy.
All right. So the third topic for our news today is that our Star Wars Trivia Championship is up on our channel. As you just found out from this, if you haven't seen the video, Element Seven's our champion. Go ahead and flex the belt because I know that you've been wanting to do that for the past few months.
Yeah.
So, as a competitor, what did you think of the setup? What were your thoughts on the tournament as a whole?
It was tough, honestly. I mean, everyone did an absolutely wonderful job in writing the questions. Questions were tough, and my opponents all throughout the entire experience were really, really tough opponents. I did well because I treated every single opponent seriously.
Well, and also you killed your round two in the championship by getting all five right.
He killed it every single time he played. Was round two? Was that he just dominated? He knew those answers. But yeah,
So if you want to go ahead and watch the Trivia Championship, it is up on our channel between Element 7 and his half of the dyad, Darth Chaco. So
absolutely
expect the unexpected.
Absolutely.
Has the dyad been split now? Been severed?
No.
Okay, good.
No, it's stronger than ever.
It's gonna. It's right now. It's at the phase of.
Are you getting ready?
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, you're doing the forbidden handshake.
We're not doing that, but it's the moment where the lightsaber breaks in half, and then I just take it and run.
Okay, that's fair.
And
then he's gonna try to get it back.
Does Chaco close the door on you?
But our last topic, we do know D23 is going to have exclusive stuff, Star Wars, Marvel. But here's my question to end the show: what do you think? Do you think that they will release to the public the Ahsoka or the Mando stuff that they got at Celebration, or are you thinking brand new things?
Neither.
Looking for brand new.
I think we might get a small teaser, but what they showed at Celebration was a wholly unique gift because they're so early in production. They couldn't possibly put together anything kind of consequential. So if they do show anything at D23, they'll have something a little bit more substantial, but it'll just be a really small teaser.
Yeah, I'm hoping for an Acolyte teaser.
Ooh.
Yeah,
hopefully that'll happen sometime later this year.
Yeah, there's so many upcoming projects that we know about, and obviously there's stuff we don't know about that's also coming. And I definitely see maybe like another teaser for one of the shows we know is coming up quickly. Maybe getting another Andor teaser, like a 45-second thing or something like that. But I definitely see like maybe just showing some logos of like new projects that like we don't know that are going on. Just being like, hey, this animated show is happening. Just so you know, it'll 2024, 2025 season. Like, get ready.
Hey, how about
Lando
Squadron?
Yeah.
Lando.
I think because London's happening in a little less than 10 months now, they're not going to do anything grand. They're going to keep it for Celebration. I think we're going to see Taika Waititi's movie. We're going to see Rogue Squadron at London. And so D23 is most likely going to be a catch-up for everyone who didn't go to Celebration.
I will be packing a wheelchair for Celebration because I will I will not be able to walk when they show Rogue Squadron.
I've seen Top Gun twice now in the theater, and I'm like fully on the Rogue Squadron. My pitch is just take the Top Gun plot and change all the characters' names and make it Star Wars. You don't have to do anything else.
Like no, like Wedge Antilles as Maverick, and that's
exactly.
Yes.
Set it after the sequel trilogy. You can have characters.
Nice flying, myself.
Possibly
Maverick was so good.
You can have characters possibly like Poe be like in the role of like mentor of like we don't want Wedge here, but he's here. Like you can do a lot.
But anybody else
You
got
can be my
anything?
ex-wingman anytime.
Ooh, there you go. There you go, Chase.
And I need topless hut ball. That's what I need.
Yeah.
We need a center wedge. Yeah.
Oh man.
Highway to
Clear skies
danger
until
zone
What-
there's
starts
clear
playing.
skies.
What are they doing? Building
Yeah.
a team.
Anything else that y'all want to talk about that maybe we didn't touch on?
I miss all of you so
Oh.
much.
Well, we miss you
Also-
too.
I miss you
buddy.
too, Chase.
We miss you. But to Char and Hereth, good job.
Thank you.
You didn't crash.
Well,
Proud of you.
well, to Luke, way to go.
Hey Luke, you should expect better of me from my flying days.
That's true. That's true. But that's going to be an episode. We'll start with Obi.Sean.Kenobi. Where can the good people follow you on social media?
We covered this at the beginning, but Obi.Sean_Kenobi for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. My Instagram could really use some love, so head on over there and give me a follow.
Absolutely. Chase.
Forward into the black on everything, and once a month on Rogue Council.
Absolutely. We'll go Nick.
This Codename_Fulcrum on TikTok and Instagram is Nick_Codename_Fulcrum. I'm in the underscore club.
And Brooke.
_gang on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I maybe am gonna come back to Twitch soon.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Ooh, are you gonna give
Um,
us a little bit of a tease here, or
Call
what's
it a
with-
comeback.
I mean, I really didn't like playing KOTOR, and I just need to switch games, and I'll have more motivation to stream.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
So
Yeah.
I have Guardians to play.
That's awesome.
So
Awesome.
probably
awesome.
that, and there's a couple other Star Wars games that have come to the Switch. So
There you go.
Like
there you go.
KOTOR 2.
And
like KOTOR.
where can the good people
Nope.
buy all of your merch?
You can give me all of your money at farfarawayfactory.com. I just released 2 new shirts. It is Hayden Christensen Defense Squad and a Moses Ingram Defense Squad t-shirt.
Yes.
And I have a lot of other fun stuff hopefully coming out through the summer for Thor Love and Thunder and other random Star Wars things. So
Absolutely. Go support her out there. She makes great stuff. I don't buy from much, but if I do get my Star Wars or Marvel stuff, it's from Brooke. Element, finally getting you on the Clone Wars rewatch. Thank you for joining. We finally
So-
appreciate it.
I mentioned earlier that I planned this, but I didn't really. I signed up for this because you had told me that Sacrifice, Voices, and Destiny is just way out there in the future, and I was like, well, dang. So I picked The Gathering because it's another Force Jedi lore episode, and then I didn't realize that it was gonna line up to be like a couple of days after I got this bad boy. So
Also, you Yoda stan.
yeah.
What's wrong with Yoda?
We're not gonna get into that right
No,
now.
we're not having that debate.
Don't
on
ask
Podwans.
Alanis that question.
No.
She has a lot to say.
Don't put Pep and Alanis in that situation.
I'll make Alanis a believer of Yoda.
I know. I tried Pep, but I don't think I was very successful at all.
Shout out to
Well, I don't
Sensei.
think you really tried all that hard. But Element, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
I put in effort.
Have you tried like this? Giving her this?
Jedi mind?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No, we gotta just play that one.
Well, Alanis wouldn't get very far. She'd try to punt him, but then she would find herself in like I don't know, on a different planet. But
It's very dense.
I do want to comment, Brooke, if you are going to, please remember to tag me in anything if you do any Satil gear. I will empty my savings on that one.
I got
_gang. underscore element 7 underscore on TikTok, Twitter, extra underscore at the end for Instagram, youtube.com/diet in the force every Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific with Darth Chaco.
Absolutely. Hereth Productions.
Yes. You can find me here at Pod Once. Ha! Subversion of expectations, Luke. You thought I would forget? I didn't.
I'm glad you started with that though. That's good.
Good job.
I also took charge stick of what he's gonna shout out. You can find me Hereth Productions on TikTok, Hereth Edits on Twitter. Actually, wait, I gotta join the underscore gang for that one. And then again, they fly now on Mondays.
Char, where can the good people follow you? Sorry.
Thank you.
Forgot about
That is a requirement every time. You got to do that. Good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, as spelled right here, and you can find me here at the Podwans podcast every Thursday night to cover our Clone Wars rewatch. Next week we'll be covering D Squad. Chase, I know that you're happy about that.
Yay!
And then
There's no sarcasm at all.
And then you will find me and Luke and Hereth every Friday night as we have our Kenobi roundtables.
Yes. I think this one's going to be an interesting conversation for a lot of people. But you can follow us at the Pod Ones Podcast on TikTok, Pod Ones Podcast on Twitter, and at the Pod Ones Pod on Instagram. For those that are here, thank you. We appreciate you. For everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up. It's awesome. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. It would help us a lot. And Cal with the dirty joke at the end. I love it.
No. That was
The
me
biggest
when
D.
I said D Squad. Like I would put emphasis on D.
I
but
know.
Anyway, let's close this.
But that's it. For Light and for Life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the force be with you.
Always.
See you guys.